Hello and welcome to Marketing Speak. I'm your host, Stephan Spencer. I'm very excited to have Hawk Mikado with us. Hawk is the funnel gamer. He's the leading expert in funnels, lead generation, and live launches. He's helped 11,973 entrepreneurs learn how to add 6 or 7 plus figures to their businesses. He's built 18 7 and 8 figure funnels. He's an entrepreneur, an adventurer, and a family man. Hawk, it's so great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
How did you end up getting called the funnel gamer?
Well, it was originally the funnel genius. So one day, one of my team members we were like launching a product. One of my team members just said it's the funnel gamer and it's Hawk Mikado, and it kind of stuck through evolution of myself. I'm a massive gamer. I really wanted to incorporate gaming in my business and how we do our business and how we operate as a business. And while the Funnel Genius brand is really powerful, it felt like it was time to evolve past that. And I had a bunch of things with FG already, so Funnel Gamer just kind of was a natural progression of that.
So how do you gamify a funnel, or how do you gamify any kind of marketing?
Well, so first of all, story, right? So I play mostly MMOs and MMORPGs, or back in the day, D&D.
Okay. So for some of us, folk, I know what it is, but some of our listeners have never heard that acronym.
Multiplayer games, so games where people are playing together, and RPG is a role-playing game, so story-based, quest-based, where you're going out on an adventure, doing a specific thing and accomplishing something, and then you win the gold or kill the dragon or whatever at the end of it.
And what was your favorite game when you were growing up?
I played a lot of D&D with my dad. I remember staying up until like 4 or 5 in the morning many times playing D&D on a school night, which is not so smart, but it was still fun.
That wasn't great parenting.
I thought it was wonderful parenting.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, school. I was a natural entrepreneur from pretty early on. One day I was at the store and I'd gotten an A on a test or something. My dad gave me $5. And I went and bought a bag of dried mango, like a pound of dried mango, because at the time it was like $5 a pound. It was the first thing we checked out with, and by the time we got to the car, it was gone. I polished off the entire pound, and I'm like 10 at this, like second grade, whatever second grade age is. I was like, Dad, this stuff is amazing. Can I get some more? And he's like, if you want to eat it like that, you got to figure out how to make your own money. And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, all right, cool, sounds good. And I go and I start making these like origami balloons, and I start making a bunch of things. And like starting at the age of 5, I'm out there like on my walk home from school. I'm making money, like a little bit of money here and there. And so I can go buy mango, right? Because that was my dad told me I had to do it, so that's what I did. And so I've always been a little rebellious anyhow.
What was your first legit business? Was it as a teenager?
What would you call legit?
Where it was more than just selling candy on your walk home.
Well, so then my second one was selling lanyards. And I would sell them in front of the store anytime my parents were at the store. That was 3rd and 4th grade. 6th through the end of high school, I sold pot. Then I realized that I was going nowhere with my life, and I really needed to do something more real. In 6th grade, I had an opportunity to create a marketing company, and I remember my first client was a dessert company, like a dessert thing. They'd ask me for business cards. I spent a whole bunch of time and energy and money on putting together these business cards. And then I spelled desert. Yeah, I had to give them a refund. So that was my first marketing experience. And then I helped my dad with his like hobby business. Then it kind of just stuck in the background. And then after I graduated, or after I left high school, I went to college temporarily, was like, okay, I really like this marketing thing. This is where I want to be. This is what I enjoy doing. And then a little bit down the road from there, left college, didn't graduate, met one of my mentors at college, and then started on this personal development journey, learned NLP. I went from having like 20 different business ideas at one time to having one. And he's like, you got to figure out what you want to do, right? Do you want to do this thing or this thing or this thing or this thing or this thing. And like, you got to get known for one thing. And you can't go into a networking group and be like, I got like 5,000 things that I talk about. Now, I do now because I have a lot of things that are automated and businesses that kind of run on their own now. It's like, well, I like marketing. I really enjoy it. I think it's fun, right? Crafting messages and putting together sales pages and all those kinds of things. I'm really good with technology. So that really solidified what I wanted to do. I got lead pages at the time because ClickFunnels wasn't a thing. And, it was basically lead pages or WordPress, and WordPress was a pain. I started building these little 2-step funnels for people for like $750 with a video to come with it. We just progressed forward from there, eventually got ClickFunnels and became a certified partner with them. So it's been a journey for sure.
Cool. And have you won any awards from ClickFunnels, like the funnel hacking events?
I think I'm actually up to like 21 clients who've gotten a 2 Comma Club or 2 Comma Club X award. I could have gotten one for my former agency, but we closed down not long after we made $1.2 million. By that point, I had already had so many clients that I'd done it for. It didn't feel right, basically, to me. Yeah, I built this business and then it closed down, and here's my award for it. I have so many other clients, and I also have like 32 certifications.
Wow, that's a lot of certifications. What are you certified in, and from where?
Well, ClickFunnels is the one that I talk about pretty much. If somebody feels like they need credibility from me, here's all this other credibility, but I'm also a certified partner. The rest of them are all from coaching programs. Like, I've got a leadership one, an accountability coaching one, a goal setting one, hypnosis, NLP, 1, 2, 3, speaker training. Like, they sit in a box in a house far, far away. So,
how does NLP and hypnosis come in handy? I think I know the answer to that, of course, but I want to hear your take on it. How do you use those in your marketing?
Well, I mean, that's all marketing is. You're crafting a message, right? If you're crafting it in a way that doesn't connect and resonate with your audience, then at the end of the day, they're not going to move forward. So you have to understand psychology, you have to understand human behavior, you have to understand how people will act and react. A sales page is no different than a sales conversation. You still have to be having the conversation in their head as you're writing your sales page. If you can be having that conversation with them as they're reading it, now they're getting the information they need, and they're having that conversation with you or whoever the sales page is coming from. And so I've taken a lot of those components over the years and used them into sales pages. We have a really powerful page based on psychological triggers. It goes through each of the core components. We utilize the 6 human needs throughout our content and rotate through them and look at if we're going towards or away motivated. I mean, there's a lot of technical stuff in there, but right, focuses on attention, notoriety, emotion, logic, and either future or fear.
What's a funnel you're really proud of?
A good friend of mine, Brad Hart, his book funnel, we did $1 million with that recently. I mean, there's a bunch of other ones that I can't say the name of. There's some stuff that like I've built that I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Let's see how well it works. And sometimes it goes really well, and sometimes it is completely terrible. What I love to see is when my clients are able to make an impact and they're able to help change the lives of their clients, and that ripple effect. Almost every one of my clients is in the B2B space, right? They're a coach and they're coaching other businesses. Actually, I guess there's another one. So we have a real estate funnel we did for a client quite a while back for his community in real estate. It was for investors and agents. To get a motivated seller lead, you have, generally speaking, most people go straight for the jugular of, hey, do you want a cash offer on your house? Well, if you understand that in order for somebody to be looking for a cash offer on their house, they have to have gone through a whole bunch of information to get there. And the likelihood that they're going to actually fill that form out is a lot smaller, right? They're in the 1 to 3% range, right? They are ready to make that next step forward. So we look for the people who are either hot traffic or warm traffic versus the people who are ready traffic. So, we got another 37% or so of people in the market that could be interested but aren't necessarily there right yet, right? We have to educate them on the power. They're thinking of selling, but they're not thinking of, should I go with a realtor or should I go with a cash offer, or what are the different components of that. And so we were tasked with building this funnel and started building it, and we started running traffic to it. To get a lead, depending on the area, was like $200 to $500+ per lead, because there's so much competition out there of people in the industry that are trying to get those same leads. So I started thinking, this is a lesson I learned from one of my mentors. Whenever there's a problem, look outside of your industry for a similar problem and what their solution was. And so I started thinking about, real estate is no different than any other business, right? Somebody still has to make a decision to want to sell their house. And if I can hook them in based on what they might be thinking with a lead magnet, now I've got a much better chance of converting them into the sale before anybody else gets to them. And so with that, we were able to drop the cost per lead down to between $15 and $60 a lead. So literally saving like 90 to 99% from what we had been paying before. And then the lead magnet, its job is to educate, also to, in this case, was to create strain on how difficult it would be to do the thing that they think that they wanted to do. So like sell your house without a realtor. It's a great one for both realtors and investors. How to get out of foreclosure, right? There's a whole bunch of things that somebody could do to get out of foreclosure, but the reality is the fastest thing is just to sell it to a cash buyer. You have, another one, and this is primarily for somebody who's an agent and a property manager, is should I sell or should I rent my property out? Should I sell my property or should I rent and become a landlord? So there's that. And then we've been developing a bunch of new ones. But having those lead magnets on the front then breaks down the process, and at the end says, hey, get a cash offer, get a comp on your house, or find out what it would get a rental analysis on your property, what would it actually rent for. So that was a really cool, like, being able to do that. And then with that, we were getting like booked, so you got leads and then you have booked actual like meetings and done deals, and we had a couple clients doing deals for $500 approximately, so from 5,000 down to 500.
So have you taken this knowledge and applied it to your own ventures so that you could start up businesses that maybe you're the sole owner of, or you're maybe a partner with someone else on, and now you're in the real estate business, or you're in some other vertical that a client was in?
I've done some of my own wholesaling. So as an investor, we have an Airbnb business, and I've taken all of my processes and everything from marketing. I think it's about a 7-page sales letter on Airbnb that explains why somebody would want to stay at our house. We do corporate rentals, so not short-term due to the laws in the places where our Airbnbs are, but we do these corporate rental style. So we're attracting corporate clients that want to come in for 30, 60. In some cases, we have a couple people who've stayed for over 4 years through Airbnb as part of the corporate rental, which is kind of, not really what people think about when they think of Airbnb. But we're making more money than a vacation rental. We're making far more money than a standard rental. And it creates flexibility for the person who's staying there as well. Through Airbnb, there's a 30-day limit. So we took all the marketing principles and applied it there. We then launched an Airbnb management company, hired a house manager in the area who manages all of our houses and our clients' houses. And so that business just kind of runs on its own. I get a few leads every now and again. And, if we're interested, we have a conversation with them. I don't do really much marketing there at this point, but by itself is this like little money generating business on the side. A side hustle, it takes, an hour a month, maybe 4 hours a month if we get everybody's checking in and checking out, and we just got to make sure things are flowing right. And then now with our 3D house printing company, which was originally we got into this because we wanted to build a series of hotels and then build a second location in each of the cities that we go to help take homeless off the street and use the profits from the first location to be able to provide services homeless, get them off the street, get them trained, get them placed in jobs, and help end homelessness in each city we go to. So that's just starting. As we were talking about this and going through this, I got a bunch of people with like, can you build my house through 3D printing? I was like, well, of course we can, because I'm an entrepreneur and, I figure it out. So we started talking with Sean, who's my partner on the printing side. I went to a mastermind last week and basically just started saying, hey, I'm a 3D printer. I print 3D printed houses. And we got a contract for 172 complex. So it's somewhere between 155 and 181 technically. The plan that they showed me had 172. So we'll see how many it'll actually end up being. But that'll be about $100 million project. I landed we're going to build a dragon house. This is really cool. I think this is probably one of the more fun ones. We're going to build a house in Idaho, and it's going to be a giant dragon on a farm, and each wing is going to be a house, like its own house, and then the body's going to be house. So it's going to be a triplex dragon, as long as we can get permitted by the city of some like super small city. So it's going to be just a great attraction for the city. That's how we're going to sell it to them is, hey, you're going to have this dragon in your town, bring some tourism to town.
And for the Airbnb stuff, that must require some specialized knowledge in how Airbnb's algorithm works and how to get visibility within the Airbnb platform so that you get more bookings for your properties.
I took a very simple split testing. I can't think of the word of what it is. We figured out how to split test headlines and images to attract people in on Airbnb. Anybody can do it. It's just that nobody does. I've seen maybe 2 or 3 other people ever, and I've been to over 100 Airbnbs myself. So as I'm searching, I'm I see a couple of people. All right, you know how to market. I can tell you're a marketer, right? And they've got different listings for the same exact room or the same place. It's just it's a great way to be able to figure out, what works best. What do you want to be able to provide? And then the other is, because we have such an in-depth listing, people are able to make an easy decision. We only want specific guests. We really don't want like somebody who wants to come in and party, or somebody's going to be loud. Like, it's meant to be a corporate rental, right? It's meant to be, where our audience are contractors coming to and from the area, coming to the area for a job, traveling nurses, grad students, so not college students, but grad students. And then kind of in between that, we usually get people who are either moving to or from the area. And they're like, we have one guy, he's waiting for his house to be ready. He's got a place he's moving into, and he just keeps extending because it's not ready. I don't know if they're building it or what's going on there. We got 14 units right now that all just produce for themselves. And I got an amazing house manager. I honestly, I could not do this without her. She's incredible, and she takes care of the properties. She, goes in and cleans them. She turns them. She does maintenance as needed. So really, helps bring it together. And having the right people on the team is an utmost essential to entrepreneurial growth.
How'd you find her?
I just started posting listings up. Rather than apply through the listing, she sent me a DM on Facebook, and I was impressed. I was like, I could tell she wanted it more than the rest of the people. We just started talking, and she came and did a cleaning, and then was like, all right, like, here's more and more and more and more. So we just started her off with cleaning, and then realized how essential she would be. Not just in cleaning, but how skilled she was. And in this case, we wanted somebody who was, in this case, a Jane of all trades. She's able to take on a lot. She fixes things that need to be fixed. She really is there to care about the houses. I always know that the universe provides what you ask for, so be very clear in what you ask for and you'll get it, right?
Yeah.
If you ask for ice cream and it comes and falls on your head, you got ice cream. So you got to be specific. I would like a bowl of ice cream in front of me for free, and it's got to be chocolate and vanilla.
So what's an
So
example of getting the universe providing you what you asked for, and then you're like, oh, I should have gotten more specific?
So a long time ago, probably in like a decade and a half or two decades ago, maybe, I was looking for my future, wife, or I like wasn't very clear. I was like general, and I found somebody who I thought was good, but really wasn't having an opportunity. I've been like, oh, I want an opportunity to do this like thing, and then it's like, well, I didn't really get the opportunity because I wasn't very specific. It's like I got to attend, but not like really do anything. Go to like to a mastermind or whatever. So it wasn't like I was involved on the front end, just things like that. But then on the flip side of getting clear, it's like, well, I want to have this person on my stage, or I want to have this person on Funnel Magazine, or I want probably for the last almost 5 or 6 years, probably 7 years. Anytime that I have a spot open on my marketing, like my marketing roster, where I'm able to bring on a new client, I just go, here's what I'm looking for, right? In my mind, and usually within a week, I've landed a new client. Like it's just clockwork now, right? It's easy. And I don't do anything. Literally, I just say it out loud, and like within the week, I have like 10 people go, "Hey, Hawk, are you available to work with people now?" Because I only do like a limited number of clients at a time, and I'll start getting leads from these places that my businesses are out there. Profiles out there, and they don't generate any leads while I'm not looking for clients. It's very interesting. But as soon as I start looking for clients, I swear it's like literally the next day, like I'll get like 3 or 4 people who apply through those things. The universe conspires for
Yep.
us, right? And
Yep.
we just have to know what we want it to conspire for.
Yeah. I met you many years ago, and I don't think you remember me, but I think it was a Speaking Empire in San
Mm-hmm.
Diego. Were you in a Speaking Empire event way back in the day, like maybe a decade ago?
We were in San Diego. I don't know if we were at a round table together, or if were you managing the Speaking Empire there? You just
No, I was
then.
just attending. Yeah, I don't remember if my wife Orion was there with me or not, because she's done Speaking Empire events or had in the past. Gotten some awards and things from them too, from some of the trainings. What sort of masterminds are you involved in these days?
I started hanging back out with Rudy Moore for more money. Yeah, so a while back we actually worked together in his agency, and then saw he launched Mastermind, and I was like, I'll join the Mastermind. There's a lot of reasons why. This last week we made a deal to create a co-offer. So one of my offers, along with one of his offers, that gets people into the Mastermind ultimately helps more people, because he has some stuff that I don't teach, and I do, my team does some stuff that his team doesn't want to do. So it was a perfect mashup of synergies. We have that whole new offer. We're just crafting it out, finalizing that. And so that'll get more people into the Mastermind to come hang out with me. So that, win-win-win. And they'll get a funnel out of it, and they'll get training and be able to scale through it as well.
Sounds like you do joint venture partnerships
Always, yeah.
with other folks. Yeah.
I'm always looking for the best way to help.
Are you familiar with Joint Venture Mastermind, JVMM?
Yeah, I'm in JVMM.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize that you're in there now. There's so many people
Yeah.
in it. It's really grown.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a great group.
Yeah, I'm in JVMM, JV Directory, technically in JVIC, formerly in JVology, which has now been closed down. JV Jams, although my team goes to that, I think. I don't know, it's on their calendar. So JVs are by far one of the most powerful ways to grow and scale a business, right? It's like referrals on steroids, because it's great to get a referral from a client or from a friend or from a colleague, when they come in, because those are going to be strong referrals. And when you have a partner that you can then either create a co-offer together, right? So build something that each of you provide, or you can just cross promote each other. Then either way, both people are able to help each other's lists and each other's communities sell more as well. So grows the business, helps more people, creates cross pollination, both people grow, everybody wins.
What would be an example of a JV that wouldn't be effective versus one that is? I'm sure you've had less effective JVs and you've had really great ones like the one you mentioned with Rudy. So what do you think are the difference makers?
I see this happen a lot. The newer JV communities, like not saying that the community themselves is newer, but the people in there are newer. And everybody's like, let's JV, because like I just got all hyped up on this thing and I just learned this whole thing. And then they're like, I want to promote you, and they're like, I'll promote you too. And I'm like, yeah, so you only target women and you only target men, and somehow you're going to be cross promoting each other's products and offers. The people who target women are like business coaching, and the people who target men are like completely different, maybe spiritual coaching. Like it just, and then there's this like excitement that I see happen, and then nothing happens. Like, except for unsubscribe. They get lots of unsubscribes. They're like, why am I receiving information about this totally different thing? Like, is not relevant to me. And I see it happen all the time. I mean, I've done them too over the years. I don't remember what exactly it was that I promoted a couple years ago, but I had never gotten so many unsubscribes from an email. Like, usually it's a 0.12% or something like that. It was like 3% unsubscribe from that email. It's like, whoa, all right, I guess I'll never promote this thing again. I had another one recently that I promoted that I thought was actually a good fit. We have a software called Funneltopia. It's an all-in-one, et cetera, et cetera. I had a competing, quote unquote, competing software that we were promoting. I got a bunch of questions back like, why are you, sending me a competing offer? It wasn't actually competing. It's just in the mind of the buyer it was competing. So it wasn't differentiated enough. Ours is for warm traffic. Theirs was for cold email, which is powerful. Our system doesn't do cold email, or we don't allow it. So it was like, well, if you want to do cold email, here's how you do it. And it just didn't go very well. So we ended up stopping the promotion short as a result of that. Okay, well, I guess our list wasn't clicking, and I was getting questions from clients being really confused about why they would, they're like, doesn't your system do this? I go, well, on a warm side, yes. On a cold side, no. And it was just confusing. So that I think came down more to the messaging that was being sent out. We were in a rush. We literally just sent out what the swipe files that they sent us with some like very basic edits. We know never to do that, but we did it anyways because it was just like we had 1,000 other things, and it was like, oh, that's today. Okay. It happens every once in a while, but really crafting the message to your audience is key, is what I learned there, and or relearned there.
So when you get a swipe file with a sample email copy,
throw it away
to your list. Okay. So how long does it take for you or your team to rewrite an email campaign? Let's say it's like a 3 email promotion for a JV partner to your list, and you're not going to use any of their swipe copy. Is this hours of work, or is this like 20 minutes of work?
Yeah, we spend probably 3 to 4 hours of work to write new emails to our list for that JV. That's specific to their offer. Like, our copywriters look at their sales page. If we can get into the content of the program, then we get into the content of the program. My wife and head copywriter, she has probably, I think, on a couple of those programs spent like 10, 15 hours going through and really creating and then crafting the right message to the list. The swipe files, they're swipe files, and at this point, most of them are being written by ChatGPT. I noticed, like, I've gotten at least 5 of them in the last month they're like, here's our swipe files. Like, magically, we can now write swipe files. Like, great, yeah.
How do you tell that it's ChatGPT?
I see patterns everywhere, and I just have this uncanny ability, I suppose, to be able to see and go, oh, this structure, this is how ChatGPT writes. And we've written a ton of stuff in ChatGPT. It's a great tool to start with new copy. right? If you're struggling getting something out, first of all, never ask it to write anything from scratch because it will be terrible. Not actually terrible. It's just really generic, and it's also 100% plagiarized, which most people don't realize. So it's literally because it's just grabbing information off the internet and then putting that information into the thing, and it's like, well, this sentence literally could have been used on your competitor's website, and that could be copyrighted. And if you publish that as is, you could end up in some hot water. So what we do, first of all, always start with a human written sales page. Take that content, literally copy and paste the entire sales page content into ChatGPT, and then have it write something from there. We can have it write some pretty cool emails or ads or whatever. That just gives us something to go off of. Now, it's not always, doesn't always work, but I was over at a friend's house a couple weeks ago. We were talking about it, and we ended up writing 2 emails, and I mean, we rewrote it over and over and over again. So it wasn't just like the first time, oh, perfect. Like we rewrote it probably 10 times with different tones and different like angles and everything. And then we took that content that it wrote and grabbed blocks from each of the components, put it together into one email, then did that again for a second email. Well, actually, I copied and pasted what I created into a second email and then to like, oh, create a reminder based on this new content, which helped it learn what to put in the second one. So the second one had a lot less to do on it. We made like $6,000 in 2 days off of 2 emails. So, that was pretty fun. He's a great copywriter, but he's doesn't have the time. And so I was like, well, here's how we do it. And so he used that to create some starting copy for a webinar that he was doing with somebody else, like a joint webinar that he was doing with somebody else. They did like $30,000 from that webinar too, and he made 10 of that. It was a good week. It's a tool, but don't, rely on it as like this magical thing, because it's only as good as you are at prompting it. You gotta massage it from there too, because in my opinion, it will replace the junior copywriter. It will never replace the direct response, high ticket, high figure copywriter in the next couple of years. Maybe in a decade or 2 decades, like all of our jobs are going to be gone. They're just going to be done by AI. And I don't know what's going to happen with there, because if everything's done by AI, then we have nobody to pay for things. It'll be iRobot all over again.
I, for one, welcome our robot overlords.
Yes, me too, especially since it's being recorded.
Yeah. Training data for ChatGPT.
Probably, yeah. I mean, you can always take the transcript of this and upload it into ChatGPT, and then create a bunch of fun little snippets and social posts, blog articles, and
Yeah.
all the other stuff.
Have you used ChatGPT for your Airbnb business, like to rewrite those long article explanations for each of your properties?
No, that's an interesting idea. We have almost 100% occupancy anyways, so I just, like I said, it just runs on its own with the help of our house manager. Right? If she wasn't there, then we'd have a lot more work to do, but it runs itself, and we have all the systems in place, and we have all the marketing in place, and we have everything in place. So I'm able to step out and really just check in when somebody's either checking in or checking out to make sure, hey, how are things going? Or if something breaks, it gets sent to me, and then I send it to the house manager. And like we had a problem with the refrigerator at one of our properties last month. It happened to be nothing. It just, the sensor, something happened with the sensor, and it just like stopped sensing the temperature. And so it was like, it's 55. And the guy's like, refrigerator is 55. It's supposed to be like in the 30s. And she went over there and turned it off, turned it back on. And I would have never known how to do it. I'm not like physically technical. All right. You can hand me a computer, you can hand me code, I can figure it out. You hand me a hammer, and it will land on my foot.
I'm not that particularly handy either. Now, one thing you mentioned a while ago in this interview was Funnel Magazine. Is that something that you're currently running, a magazine? Is it online? Is it in print, or both, or what?
Yeah, so it was actually one of those pivot moments in life. We needed to either pivot or we would just completely perish off the face of the business world. We had this whole thing, this whole debacle happened. Basically, LinkedIn at the time, before they got bought by Microsoft, had this process that now works again, but they shut down everybody. We had contracts in place that we had to fulfill on. We'd already been paid for them. So we had to figure out how to go do this. And then at the same time, we also lost our entire revenue source. Like, it was our only revenue source. And so we're like, okay, we have no way to make more money because the one thing that we were doing for lead generation is no longer available. So what are we going to pivot to? At the time, I think I was probably paying about $1,200 per booked client to get a client in. I was paying about $1,200 to get a client in. And I was like, we can't, like, that's not going to work at this time. And so it's like, well, we'd built a ton of free plus shipping funnels for our clients. We've got quite a few out there that made 7+ figures from their free plus shipping funnels and the upsells that come from them. I was like, why don't we build ourselves a free plus shipping funnel? And we're also really good at affiliate marketing. And so we started just brainstorming all these different ideas, all these different possibilities. We had just come back from a Darren Hardy event, and he's the former publisher of Success Magazine. And so I'm just like, we're just throwing ideas on the wall. And I'm like, what about Funnel Magazine? Like, totally joking. Then Kate and I look at each other, and I can still remember the sound of the air conditioner because it was that silent in there. And we just both started nodding to each other and go, yeah, I think that's the one. Ironically, it was meant to be one edition. We were just going to have one edition with 10 articles that promoted 10 different affiliate offers. That was what Funnel Magazine was supposed to be originally. And then I just posted online. I'm like, we're launching Funnel Magazine. And everybody's like, oh my God, who's going to be on the cover? How many editions are there going to be? What's the price? Like, I can't believe I didn't think about this. A few people jokingly cussed at me about how brilliant and how they should have come up with the idea. I thought it was funny. So we're like, okay, well, I guess we should really build a real magazine. We're getting all the questions. We got the interest of the community. And so I pursued Russell Brunson for the next months. Well, that's for a whole nother story. Eventually they said yes, obviously. This is on the cover. That then led us to, we launched his edition at Traffic and Conversion. So I had physical prints of his edition at Traffic and Conversion. First year was all print and digital. Second year, we did a lot less editions, print. And then the third year, we did no print, but we gave the print files to the people who were on the cover so that they could print it for their community if they wanted to. So a couple of them printed it out for their community, like Brian Delaney printed his out for his community. Yeah, it just kind of grew. And then when our agency shut down, it kind of shut down a couple months back, basically beginning of 2023. We decided to relaunch it as we're probably going to do set like twice a year, so middle of the year and then end of the year. But we may end up doing quarterly or 3 times a year. I don't know, but our current promise is we're going to do 2 this year. So we got John Ashraf on the cover of the first one of 2023.
Awesome. I know we're out of time, so if our listener, our viewer, wants to work with you, I know you have limited spots for consulting and funnel building and all that, but if they catch you at the right time, then how do they get in touch? Also, if they just want to learn from you or perhaps be a JV partner, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
So, number one, if you want to work with me at any point in time, the fastest way to know that I will be available is to be on my list. It's just simple, simple, easy peasy. Go get a free copy of Funnel Magazine, and the link will be dropped below here. And if you want to get lifetime access, at least the time of this recording, we're doing lifetime access for all the past editions and future editions. Since we're only doing a few a year right now, you can get access to that along with a whole bunch of other bonuses, including you get some free coaching, you get access to our software for a bit, you get access to a whole bunch of other cool things like $20,000+ in training, all for some crazy price that we're insane for doing, but it's a low ticket offer.
So we'll put that in the show notes, the link to that.
Go get that, and then if you want to do any JVs with us, or you're ready to just skip the line forward, find me on Facebook, Hawk Mikado. There's a profile and there's a page. Please send it to my profile, not my page. You can send it to either, but if you want to like have an actual conversation with me, send it to my profile. If you want to talk to a salesperson that is not me, send it to the page. That's the easiest way to do it. And those are, yeah. So go get your copy of Funnel Magazine. Link will be in the show notes. And if you want to JV or talk to me personally, send me a message on Facebook Messenger and say something more than hi. Say, hey, I heard you on Marketing Speak and I want to talk to you about. If it's a no or if it's a yes, either way I will respond. But if you just say hi, you'll be in the archive folder with the other 5,000 people who just said hi.
Or they could have ChatGPT write the initial outreach.
Sure, go ahead, feel free. At least it's not just hi.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Hawk, and thank you, listener. I hope you got inspired to do more than just market, but actually build businesses, because Hawk's doing some amazing things. We'll catch you on the next episode. Have a great week. This is your host, Stephan Spencer, signing off.